What if I told you the tallest mountain on Earth has become a frozen graveyard? And what if I told you some climbers still use dead bodies as landmarks on their way to the top? High above the clouds, standing at more than 29,000 feet, Mount Everest is the tallest mountain on Earth. For many people, reaching its summit is the ultimate dream, a dream of glory, adventure, victory. But Everest is not just a mountain. It is also a place where hundreds of people lost their lives, and many of them never came back down. Even today, frozen bodies still remain on the mountain, silent, motionless, preserved by the extreme cold. And the terrifying part? Some climbers walk past them every single year. The story of Everest began long before modern climbers arrived. For decades, people believed the mountain was impossible to conquer. Then, in 1953, two men changed history forever. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay became the first climbers officially confirmed to reach the summit and return alive. The world celebrated them as heroes, but Everest had already started building its dark reputation. Over the years, thousands of climbers traveled from around the world hoping to stand on top of Earth. Some succeeded. Some disappeared forever. Today, more than 11,000 successful summits have been recorded, but Everest has also claimed more than 300 lives, and many experts believe the real number may be even higher, because sometimes the mountain never gives people back. One of the deadliest parts of Everest is an area climbers call the death zone. Above 8,000 meters, the human body slowly begins to die. There is only about 1/3 of the oxygen available at sea level. Every breath feels weak. Every step feels heavier. The brain struggles to think clearly. The heart works harder and harder. And if a climber stays there too long, the body begins shutting down. Some people become confused. Some hallucinate. Some suddenly sit down to rest and never stand up again. Climbers have described seeing shadowy figures in the snow. Others reported hearing voices where nobody existed. The lack of oxygen can slowly destroy the mind. But even knowing all this, people still climb. Why? Because Everest changes the way people think. There is even a term for it, summit fever. A dangerous obsession where climbers become so focused on reaching the top they ignore warning signs, bad weather, or even their own failing bodies. And sometimes that obsession becomes fatal. And this is exactly why Everest is far more terrifying than most people realize. If you enjoy real cinematic stories hidden inside history, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because there are many more true stories like this that most people have never heard before. One of the most disturbing realities of Everest is that dead bodies often remain exactly where people died. At first, that sounds impossible. Why wouldn't rescue teams bring them down? But Everest is not normal ground. At those extreme heights, even carrying your own backpack feels exhausting. Now imagine trying to carry a frozen human body down steep ice slopes while fighting low oxygen and violent winds. It can take many rescuers. It can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and sometimes rescuers die trying to recover the dead. So in many cases, the bodies stay where they are, frozen by the mountain forever. Some bodies become covered by snow over time. Others remain visible for years. And perhaps the most famous of them all became known as green boots. For years, climbers traveling along one popular route passed a frozen body resting inside a small cave. The climber wore bright green boots. Nobody knew his real story at first, so people simply called him Green Boots. For many climbers, green boots became more than just a body.
He became a marker, a point on the mountain that told climbers where they were. Think about that for a moment. A human being who once had dreams, family, and ambitions became part of the mountain itself. And Green Boots was not the only one. There are many others. Some lie beside ropes fixed into the ice. Some remain sitting exactly where they took their final breath. And every climbing season, new climbers walk past them on the journey toward the summit, sometimes only a few feet away. It sounds cold and heartless, but on Everest, survival changes everything. At those heights, helping another climber can mean risking your own life. There have been tragic moments where exhausted climbers begged for help while others continued climbing toward the summit. Not always because they were cruel, but because in the death zone, even saving yourself can feel impossible. And that is what makes Everest so terrifying. It pushes humans beyond normal limits. The mountain does not care about experience. It does not care about strength. It does not care about dreams. Storms can arrive without warning. Temperatures can fall far below freezing. One mistake can become deadly in seconds. Yet people continue returning every year, because Everest is more than snow and rock. To many climbers, it represents the ultimate challenge, the chance to stand at the highest point on Earth, to prove something to themselves.
To leave ordinary life behind. But the mountain always demands a price. Some climbers return home as legends. Others remain there forever, frozen in silence beneath the clouds. And maybe that is why Everest fascinates the world so much, because it reveals something deep about human nature, our ambition, our courage, and sometimes our obsession. Everest shows how far humans are willing to go chasing a dream, even when death is standing directly in front of them. So the next time you see a beautiful photo of Mount Everest, remember this. Hidden beneath that snow are real stories. Stories of hope, fear, sacrifice, and people who climbed toward the sky but never made it back down. So now I want to ask you something. Do you think reaching the top of Everest is worth risking your life for? Or are some places simply too dangerous for humans to conquer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more cinematic true stories from history.